So Jonathan, thank you so much for your time and your willingness to come on and talk about just essentially all the ways in which you've been leading your firm over the past several months and how you guys have been not just adapting, but also just been so proactive. I'd love for you to speak on it. Just everything from some of the things you've been doing with your team, the community, the firm as a whole. What have you guys been up to the last couple months?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on. It's great to be here. I'm a big, huge fan of CRISP. It's great to be part of the CRISP community. I tell you, right when this happened, we recognized this as something that was not going to be a temporary blip. It was going to be, the cut was going to be deep and it was going to be long. And so we immediately launched a plan of action to address it. So we actually put together a written plan, and we codenamed it Operation Dynamo, which, if you're a student of history, you'll remember that's what Winston Churchill called the Dunkirk evacuation. And we brought everybody together, and we had a very direct and open conversation with all of our employees about what this means. There's a lot of concern, and so we told all of our employees, look, no one's getting fired, no one's getting furloughed. We're going to look at this not as a concern, but we're going to look at this as an opportunity, and we're going to double down in the business. And so, we're going to be here all together. My commitment to you is we'll be here until the very last breath. And your commitment to us is you're going to have to work harder and smarter and more intelligently and aggressively than you ever have in your life. And it's very strange, but crisis can really bring people together. And we've just had the tightest team since that time.
Yeah, no, I can see that. More specifically in terms of, I know you guys have implemented a lot of different systems. There's a lot of things. Prior to this, you guys were not a remote workforce, right?
Not at all. No, we were the brick and mortar. We were not paperless. So since that time, we've just invested so substantially in the company. We've actually brought on 2 new attorneys, and we have invested in technology like you wouldn't believe. And quite frankly, a lot of the stuff came from ideas that we learned from the CRISP coaching. But we've got new programs involved. We've got HiBob, we have Bonusly, we've got OneLogin. We've got so many different CRM programs that we never really had the opportunity because we were just so busy working on cases. And so we decided to really take this opportunity and just to go very, very deep with that. And it's interesting because at some point the COVID's going to pass, and I have never worked harder in my life because I see that this window of opportunity is going to close in the near future. We're going to get back to our lives. And so we are just working like a possessed man to get this done, before that time expires, because we have this opportunity that's just such a unique gift if you look at it that way.
And when you started rolling a lot of this stuff out, so straight out of the gate, COVID hits, you guys are implementing new systems, like just new initiatives, all these different things. How was the team responding to that?
So, initially there was a lot of confusion. I think there was a lot of fear about what's going to happen to them. Is their job secure? Once we had that come to Jesus conversation about we're all going to be here and no one is going anywhere, everyone really got banded together, and everyone's just jumped on board with all this technology. It's made us so much more productive. I mean, we're having meetings remotely. We're having meetings every day, several times a day. And I mean, to give you an example, I have 2 attorneys that we've hired I've met once in my life. I mean, I talk to them every day on Zoom. I've met them once in my life. They came in, wearing a mask during the interview, and that was it. And so everyone has just really jumped on board with this. And some of those programs, like to give an example, Bonusly. It's a silly little program, but oh my God, what it does for the culture and for morale, it's really been fantastic, and everyone's just loved it.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, we've used Bonusly for a number of years now. The team, it's almost like you can automate employee recognition, right? When they start recognizing one another. So the team, in our experience, the team's loved it as well. So then I have to ask, because someone's going to be watching this and they're saying, okay, this all sounds like it was all easy, right? So they're making all these decisions is fairly simple because you've been, obviously very calm about it. You've been very proactive. But talk me through some of the areas of perhaps vulnerability, and confusion and so on, because as COVID hit, we all had uncertainty, and I don't want someone to see this and view this as just, at no point did you have any uncertainty.
To be completely honest with you, it's been a complete disaster. I mean, we had 2 very large trials that were scheduled, one in April, another one in July, large trials against manufacturers off calendar. The cash flow has essentially dried up, and there's been many sleepless nights, and it's been absolutely a disaster on one front. But you can't let those circumstances drive you, and you can't be making fear-based decisions. And so we've just chosen to look at this as an opportunity because, truthfully, whether you seize the opportunity or you cower in the corner from fear, you're in a pandemic either way. And so, we've chosen to approach this as an opportunity. And, Warren Buffett says, be greedy when others are scared and scared when others are greedy. And so, there's a lot of people that are running from the fire, and we're not only doubling down, we're tripling down. I mean, we're running towards it.
Excellent. And during this time, I know that there's definitely been the power of community and surrounding yourself with the right people. Like where have you been leaning essentially for support and for help? I know that obviously, in full disclosure, anyone watching this, you're in the coaching program, so you got that, and they're gonna say, oh, that's biased. But just truthfully, like you can say anything, and we won't even edit it.
No, honestly, the CRISP coaching has been fantastic. Lauren is my coach, and she's just such a wonderful coach. It's difficult from my position because I can't talk to the employees about concerns or fears. And so there's been a lot of, honestly, open conversations with Lauren about it. There's been conversations with other business owners that I've had. And we've just, chosen to look at a lot of it differently. We've really gone deep into, we've changed our whole marketing position. The phone stopped ringing. And what we were doing yesterday is not going to work today. And so it's interesting. We actually looked at Facebook and social media entirely differently. I mean, everyone's on Facebook and everyone's on Instagram, but we decided to really look at it from a different perspective and look at the power that can be harnessed from something like that. And this is crazy, but we talk about doubling down. We went from posting 3 times a week. We're now posting 85 times a month on social media. And that happened to overlay at the same time we were doing the social stack from CRISP, which I think was probably what got me thinking about it to begin with. Let me just tell you a crazy number. In January, our website traffic from Facebook was 1.7%, which is probably what it's been for the last 5 years. In April, our website traffic from Facebook was 35%. 35% of our traffic is coming from Facebook. And it's actually a result. We get leads every day from Facebook, every day. I mean, the phone is not ringing from other places, but from Facebook of all places, it's ringing. We actually got a wrongful death lead this week from Facebook. It's the craziest thing. I never would have thought.
Love it. Love it. So then I have to ask, this has been like, maybe this will go on my tombstone one day, but I have to ask, why are like so many law firms still so resistant to social media and Facebook when they themselves are using these platforms?
I think the profession in general it's a traditional profession, and I mean I think that there's probably still lawyers that don't even have computers on their desks, right? I mean, it's a traditional profession, and I think that in some people's minds, and I completely disagree with this, by the way, but I think it lessens the profession to be part of a fad thing like Facebook. But the truth of the matter is, Facebook is not a fad. It's contemporary communication, and I think. Just like, you had the phone book at one point in time, and then Google came along, and you had some people that are like, oh, that Google thing's never going to catch on. You're going to have a divide. And so we have just jumped on that, and we've decided to really, as much as we can, harness the power from that. And the great thing about it is this COVID is going to go away at some point, but our marketing efforts and the infrastructure we've built, they're not.
Mm-hmm. So what will you continue? So a lot of the efforts that you've been making with the number of times you're posting content, number of content pieces, will that continue even beyond COVID?
Oh, 100%. And, it's actually, I've really enjoyed it. I never thought that I would, but we're having to, we're posting a lot, and you can't just put stuff up. I mean, it's got to be content rich, which has really forced me to think about the business differently, think about messaging differently. And so, I mean, we're absolutely going to be continuing this when COVID goes away. And it's going to be, for us, it's been a game changer.
Excellent. And so as we close this out, so there's always people that are watching this that, they're going through a really tough time with their firm. Their phone is not ringing, it's stopped ringing. What message would you have for them, just based on the lessons that you learned over the last several months?
I'd say, look, don't panic. The first thing is don't panic. This is going to go away. The life that this is going to have is finite. We will get back to being involved in trying cases, and I mean it's a concern for us as well. but you can't make fear-based decisions. You have to take advantage of this as an opportunity, turn every negative into a positive, and look at the positive attributes that this can bring. And it really, if you think about it properly, if you take advantage of the time, you can really do so much tremendous help for your business. You're in a pandemic either way, right? So choose to be wise with the time, and don't be driven by fear. Just be driven by opportunity.
Love it. Love it. Well, Jonathan, thank you so much. I really appreciate your insights. It's been incredible and good for you guys. I think it takes a level of, it's almost like humility is what I've seen from a lot of people, to be open-minded, to approach a situation in another way, to be, willing to collaborate with others, to learn new things. Because, up until this point, there's a lot of firms that were very, very successful doing things a certain way that essentially the variables changed, on account of this. So
it changed a lot and overnight. So it's, and I think, in large part, I have to tell you that it's been a large part of the CRISP community that we've, had the support to get here, not just the coaching, but, being involved in all the webinars and listening to the podcasts. And, it's nice. It helps you get along. And we're having days that you're starting to have self-doubt. You've got people that are going through similar situations, and quite frankly, it helps remind you of that and stay strong.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again. That's a wrap on this, John. I truly, truly appreciate this.